So anything that ever existed in life came from an idea, and your business is no exception. Now, once you really start to tap into your business, you'll learn quickly that success is substantially driven from execution more than it is to just having a really good idea. But at the end of the day, you do need to have a really good business idea that works and that you're super passionate about to the point where you just want to jump straight out of bed and get to work. Now, the most common mistake I see from young aspiring entrepreneurs is that they tend to just jump straight into dropshipping or affiliate marketing just because it's the new trendy idea and that the business model looks pretty simple to do. And one of the worst approaches you can take when it comes to starting a business is to just shove an idea down your throat just for the heck of starting a business. Now, coming up with an idea isn't easy, and it's definitely not something you should just fly by on. So in this video, I'm going to show you 2 methods you can use to come up with the right business idea that you're truly passionate about. And then we're going to end it up with an exercise that'll really help you find clarification on who you truly are and what you truly want. So let's get into it. So I'm going to call this first method the pain observation, and the second method is called fit assessment. Now, these aren't real names of anything, I just made them up. But anyways, let's start off with the first method, pain observation. So first things first, you need to understand that the core of business is all about solving a problem. That's it. People have a problem, a need, or a want, and they willfully exchange their money for your product or service in order to solve their problem, fill their needs, or satisfy their wants. Bob's sink started leaking, so he called up a plumber. John was hungry, so he bought a cheeseburger. Jake wanted to play video games for entertainment, so he bought a PlayStation. So you get the point. Business is all about solving a problem. Now, the sole focus of this method is to find that amazing problem-solving business idea. And the best way to do this is to just let the problem come to you. So you do this by being extremely observant in whatever market, industry, or niche that you're currently in. And what you want to look for are some pain points that your market, industry, or niche is currently struggling with, and to try to come up with the perfect solution that solves that problem and makes you money. Maybe you have a corporate job and all your coworkers spend too much time at a coffee maker machine each morning, and that leads to a loss of 10 minutes every morning and a lack of productivity from the employees. Well, maybe you could come up with some sort of faster, timely solution like ready-to-go coffee or some sort of coffee delivery method or whatever it is that solves that problem for the boss. Or maybe you're interested in basketball, which is something you love, and whenever you see players go up to dunk, most of them usually land wrong, which could lead to potential injuries in the future. So maybe you could become a personal trainer for these kinds of athletic players to help them secure a better landing. Or maybe you could create some sort of digital product or program that educates other players and coaches about this problem and how to solve it. Or maybe you personally went through some sort of transformational journey. You went from out of shape to fit and healthy, or you went from lazy and unmotivated to super productive, or you went from sitting on the bench to becoming the best player on the team. And if that's the case, then you could consider selling some sort of transformational product or service like a coaching program, a course, an ebook, a blueprint, a consulting service, a paid group chat community, or whatever it is. And another good example is the main business I currently run. Now, in case you don't know, I run a business that sells online trainings to counselors across America. And the way I got into this business is because my dad is a counselor. So I knew about these specific types of trainings that every counselor in America is required to take. And typically these classes are done through in-person conferences. But these in-person conferences take up a lot of time, they're boring, and you have to drive far. So we came up with the idea to sell these trainings online instead, which is obviously a more convenient solution. And we haven't looked back on that ever since. But the whole point of this is that there are all types of problems and there are all types of solutions, and you need to become super observant and extremely aware of all these problems that are constantly around you. These problems could be in your workplace, they could be in your niche, they could be in your city, they could be in a product you currently use, they could be something that happens to you every day in your daily routine. And another way you can spot problems is by proactively researching them. You can go to forum sites like Reddit or Quora and type in specific keywords about a niche, topic, or industry that you're already familiar with. And what you want to do is find common problems and questions that you consistently see. Now, a quick pointer that I want to throw in is whenever you're brainstorming these different business ideas, you should most definitely write them down on a list. And my advice is to not get attached to any idea whatsoever, because not all of them will be good. Some of them are going to suck. So you need to be as completely transparent as possible, because the faster you can recognize a bad idea, then the better things are going to be. So make sure you write down all your ideas that pop up in your head throughout the month, throughout the weeks, throughout the days, and then not get too attached to any of them. And like I said, Do not rush this idea process at all. If you don't already have a business idea, then I suggest that you spend a few months, few weeks, or a few days being super observant and to let the ideas come to you, and eventually it will. But also remember that this is most likely your first business, so the idea doesn't need to be some sort of revolutionary breakthrough. It just needs to make sense, it needs to work, and it needs to be able to make you money. Because remember that this idea needs to be enough of a pain that people are willing to pay money to solve. So that's method number one. Now let's move on to the second way to find your dream business idea, and it's what I like to call the fit assessment. So what makes this method different from the last one is that instead of directly seeking problems to solve, you're assessing business models that already exist and have already been proven, and then trying to find the best fit out of those options for you. So here's what I mean. Instead of just jumping into a trendy business model like dropshipping because it looks simple to you, the better approach is to take a look at other business models and assess them from the inside out. And what you're essentially trying to look for are two main factors when doing this. One, what are the strengths and skills that the founder needs to have in order to find success within that business model? And two, what sort of interests would and should a founder of this kind of business have? And once you figure those out, you just need to ask yourself if you're a good fit to start that kind of business. Now, like I said, I don't really recommend you to do dropshipping if the sole purpose you want to do it is because it looks simple and it's popular. But however, if you're the type of person who likes to do research, you're good at running ads, you like to analyze data, you like to do customer service, then dropshipping might just be a good fit for you. Let's do another example. Let's say that you're very knowledgeable about a subject, you're a good marketer, you're a good communicator, you're creative and you like to teach, and you could consider becoming a coach. Or let's go a step further. Let's say that you have a hobby in collecting comic books and you have a cool personality. Then you could consider starting an e-commerce store where you find vintage comic books and sell them. And maybe you could build some sort of a personal brand behind it where you make content on social media to build a platform and promote it. Because I've seen a lot of people take something they're passionate about and build a business around it. Because growing up, we've all been told to do what you love, but I believe in building a business around what you love. So this approach is essentially finding something you're passionate about and learn business skills so you can monetize and build a business around your passion. Now, luckily for you, I included a resource that you can find in the description of this video for you to download, and it's a list of over 50 online business ideas that you can start today for less than $1,000. And in there, I break down what the business even is and what it does, to the skills and strengths you need to have to find success within that specific business model, in hopes that it sparks an idea for you. So to sum up this method, what you got to do is to take a look at a lot of existing business models and look for the skills you need to have, as well as the interests you should have as the founder to find the most success within it. And then you just need to ask yourself if you're a good fit for it. Now, I know I gave you two methods, so you're probably like, well, which one should I choose? And the answer is both. Take your time to do the second one I just told you about while you observantly do the first method I told you about simultaneously. And another point to consider is that you should be open to working with business partners because it's definitely a good idea if it makes sense. But a mistake people make is they jump into a partnership with a friend or with somebody that isn't as capable. You gotta realize that partnerships need to mesh like a marriage. So if you plan on partnering with people, then partner with people whose strengths are your weaknesses and vice versa. But forming a partnership is definitely optional and you aren't inclined to do it whatsoever, but it's highly recommended to do so if the business idea you're looking to start has a major function that you're completely incapable and inexperienced in. So forming a partnership is just something to consider if you haven't already thought about it. And another thing you need to clarify when you come up with a business idea is if you're selling B2B or B2C, or maybe even both. And in case you don't know, B2B stands for business to business, meaning that you're selling to other businesses. For example, if you're selling supplies to a hotel, or if you were selling advertising services for a company, or if you were manufacturing products for startups, then you would fall under the B2B category. And B2C stands for business to consumer, meaning that you're selling directly to the end user who is typically an individual consumer. For example, if you were selling clothes at a mall, or if you were selling food to students on a college campus, you get the point. So whenever you're coming up with your business ideas, it's always a good idea to articulate whether you're selling B2B or B2C, just for some extra clarification. Now with that out the way, the last thing we're gonna do is a small exercise. And it isn't another business idea generating method, but the sole purpose of it is to help you find more clarity in who you are, what you want, and what you're good at, in hopes that it makes the blurry vision of having your dream business a little bit more clear. And in hopes that it makes those other two methods I just told you about a little bit easier as well. And all of this exercise really is just 15 questions for you to answer about yourself. And I want you to fill out those questions so you can make a good reflection on yourself and understand your own self better, which will help you generate better ideas that are suited to your wants and needs. So I included the questions in a file for you to fill out down below in the description. So go ahead and download that now and get it done as soon as possible. Don't procrastinate. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for the end of this lesson. Thanks for making it to the end. Now, the sole purpose of this video was to give you a few methods and tools to help you find the best business idea that's more suited to you. So if you didn't already have a solid idea before watching this video, then I hope this lesson sparked up your brain a little bit. But one big disclaimer I want to re-emphasize is to not try to speed through this idea generating process, as well as letting the urgency of coming up with a really good idea discourage you. Just stay observant about the things and let the problem come to you, and make sure you have a list where you track all the ideas you have, right? But also remember to not get too attached to your ideas, because the good ones come and a lot of bad ones come. But ultimately, you preferably want to build a business around something you love that needs a skill set you already have, or a skill set that you're interested to learn. Because building a business around something you're truly interested in will increase your chances of success by a lot, all because you simply like what you're doing. I mean, what type of passion do you have for flipping kitchen spatulas on Amazon, you know? So doing what you love is going to keep you in business a lot longer.